waiting for forever, it feels like. But I'm on my way, starting the first leg of the journey. We are going down to Montana. Got another 19 and a half hours to go. Rocking it. Man, good morning. Got some really cool spots in here. Decided to drive into the town from the little hotel I was staying in. And I found a really cool place called the Nucleus. And it looks like it's got some killer breakfasts. So I'm gonna go in, try them out. Breakfast was phenomenal. So if you're ever in, good lord, I don't even remember what this place is. Somewhere in Wisconsin here. I'll have to post it or something, the name, but the restaurant was called the Nucleus. And I got the Southwest omelet and the white mocha. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, if you're on a long car trip or if you're just staying overnight there, phenomenal place to eat breakfast. Big menu. So we had to cut our drive a little short this time around. As you can tell by my beard, the wind is just insane. I'm about 100 miles east of Bismarck, South Dakota. It's ridiculous. But we made it. It's a little town. What's up? Made it! Oh my gosh! The Theodore Roosevelt Visitor Center! Alright, so fun. I drove in here thinking this is gonna be great. And they had the thing gated off saying it's closed. And I was like, no! So I drove like another 10 miles down the interstate. And there's a visitor center down there for the actual park. And they're like, yeah, if you don't have much time, just go up to that visitor center down the street. And I was like, oh, it's closed, I thought. And they're like, no! And they said, just park on the shoulder and walk in. And I was like, what? It was open. So I am now in the visitor center. Yes! Like the canyon. I have moss everywhere. And now I'm gonna sign off, flip the camera so you can watch as I'm walking down this trail here. All right, here you have it. The little walking path. Dude, this is so cool. Like, this is stellar. Woo-hoo! This is a whole different feel as compared to what I'm used to. And I am definitely not hating it. The Painted Caverns in South Dakota. If you're driving up I-94 through South Dakota and you haven't been here, definitely take the time to stop and check it out. If you don't want to pay the money, come to the visitor center here, the rest area. If you want to pay the money, which I am definitely planning on doing next year, I think it's like $30 or $80 or something like that. And they have a road that you can drive, and it takes you all the way through these caverns to the Badlands. It's about an hour drive, if not maybe an hour and a half, to make it through the whole thing. So you got a lot of really cool stuff that you'll be able to see on that trip. They did tell me that there has been a section that got washed out and it's no longer operational, so you have to go in, and then after an hour driving you get to that out road and you have to backtrack all the way back. Made it finally. 3 days later, at my trail, I have a nice fun little admirer over there. Up there, that's where I'm going. The trail is gonna go all the way up to the top of the ridge, and then it should follow that ridge going all the way across for a few miles. Alright, quick pro tip. Okay, amateur tip. It's probably not a pro tip, but so far in this entire summer of doing a lot more intense backpacking trips and outings for longer stretches of time and up massive inclines, this is something I would highly recommend. And if you love these, then go bonkers and get a bunch of them. These are lifesavers. They are phenomenal. I've been on a few hikes now with other people, and they're like, "What are you bringing gummies for?" And I was like, "Have you had gummies when you're backpacking?" And they're like, "No." And wouldn't you know it, about 3/4 of the way through the hike, they look over like, "Can I get some of your gummies?" I'm like, "Yep, I brought extra." And they really do help though. In all honesty, I don't go on any backpacking trips that I know are gonna be more energy demanding without bringing either a big pack like this or a bunch of little snack pack sizes. What's up, everyone? Prospect here, coming in from the peak of my journey. So, as you can tell, it's really cold. Whoa. The last, I'd say probably 300 feet of elevation that it took me to get here, the temperature probably dropped, I'd say a good 20 degrees. Because I was sweating and feeling great halfway down, and now I'm just like freezing. But shout out to my brother, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have this super dope military grade blanket. It's like a surplus blanket, but it's super nice. Now, on to the fun parts. Yeah, you guys ready? Ready to see it? The view is incredible, and I'm intentionally hiding it from you details on this hike. To get to this point, it is 5.4 miles from the parking entrance trailhead to here, and it is approximately 3,600 feet of elevation gain, and I'd say the vast majority of that elevation gain is at the bottom. There are some really nasty inclines that you start off on, but once you get past the halfway mark on this hill, it starts getting a lot longer, so your switchbacks will actually get longer in distance, and it cuts your grade significantly. All right, so it saddens me to say, but I think this is probably one of my last videos for this particular trail. My phone is about to die, and I think I left my charge cable in the truck. I remembered to put my battery pack in my backpack, and I forgot the charge cable that I was using to charge it in the outlet in the car. It really sucks. It's starting to get cold, plus, what time is it? It's about 10:40, so I might go for like another half hour, so I still have another 6 miles or so to get back to my car, and I'd like to get back before the sun goes down and it gets really cold. Big thanks to the Inches, Jeff and Johnny. If it weren't for them, then this whole trip wouldn't be possible, and this trail that I am mapping and bringing to you guys would not have been possible